You are listening to Maximum Pew Pew, an actual play RPG podcast. Maximum Pew Pew follows continuous storylines and are meant to be enjoyed from the beginning. This episode follows the West of Perdition storyline and may contain spoilers for adventures contained in Things from the Flood and Out of Time, published by Free League. The following content may contain mature themes and adult language. In this episode, the teens split up to research the town's anomalies.
J104.5, Matt Carthy with a quick traffic update. Local emergency services are responding to a single car accident on Route 460 near the I-77 interchange. Traffic is blocked both ways, so you may want to take Brickyard or the Bluefield exit if you need to get on the interstate. Other than that, clear sailing in the two Virginias. Coming up, Unbreak My Heart by Tony Braxton. Today's hits and yesterday's favorites. J104.5.
So Willow, is there any place you'd like to go? You've got Tristan in tow. Is there any place you'd like to go?
Well, following, Tristan's concern, we might just head to the hospital and check that place out really fast and, listen to the radio. Would we probably catch anything or?
You'll get the same stuff if you're flipping through the stations and you have curiosity and you're sort of hyper aware now, that's in your mind. So you'll hear this report of like the fire crash, like, oh, that makes sense. You saw a bunch of ambulances and fire department stuff go that direction. Well, off to the hospital we go.
Button in your car.
Yeah, because they don't mention any of the weirdness of them getting close and then backing off and then getting close again. But yeah.
So you go to the hospital. The parking lot is as full as you've ever seen it. I mean, nothing unusual there. Mm-hmm. If you decide to go into the hospital, which it sounds like you probably will, it is absolute chaos inside.
Like just people running around or?
It seems like the staff right now are being extremely overworked. There's a lot of people kind of wandering around. So the front entrance is not where the ER is. The ER is kind of around the side.
Okay.
And the front entrance is where you would be checking in to see, I want to see this loved one, or, the cafeteria's over here. They've got the little kiosk where you can buy like a vase of flowers for whoever you're visiting if you forgot to do that Kroger on the way in. All those particular stuff. Oh yeah, you're paying $50 for that vase of 6 carnations. I enjoy that.
Well, the hospital's going to love this then if Kroger's not getting any deliveries in.
The kiosk is there, but it's empty. Actually, it looks like it's been picked over. There are a few, you're not going to be able to find roses, but you can find some of the seasonal stuff. And it seems like, wow, I've never seen those flowers used in an arrangement before. That's interesting.
Those are dead.
Yeah. Well, they're not dead, but it's just the flower choices that they're using for these arrangements. You're no floral arranger, but at the same time, that looks a little bit unusual, or normally I would expect to see more flowers in there or anything like that, or my God, those might actually be artificial. I'm not sure. But they're putting something in there and trying to keep it stocked.
They walked up and took the wildflowers from the median.
You've
they hit the graveyard and grabbed the flowers.
The cafeteria is actually closed right now. The public area of the cafeteria is closed, but you can still see people working in the back. So food preparation still happening, but you as a visitor probably couldn't score any. There is a husband absolutely irate at the front desk right now, asking why his wife hasn't been transferred to the hospital in Charleston for the heart surgery that she needs. And the the receptionist saying we're trying to do the best we can. It's like, why can't you helivac her out? Like, well, we had some issues with the helicopter trying to, we can't get a helicopter in. We keep running into issues trying to get them in, or weather or something. They weren't quite sure what the issue was. Well, how about an ambulance? Like, we've had issues with traffic trying to get out. Like, he's obviously concerned about his wife, who's in kind of a grave condition, and like they can't get her transferred out. You've got another family that's like trying to make phone calls on the payphone, see if there's any local pharmacies that still have insulin in stock. It's just absolute chaos in here. A lot of questions going unanswered. Again, a lot of overworked staff trying to assuage these individuals that are either trying to get admitted or have loved ones admitted or need escalation of care or not getting appropriate care right now. And it all seems to coincide with, like they're not getting sufficient supplies and stuff in. Stuff just isn't making it to the hospital.
Okay, so that just ties in more with Willow's theory, and she'll just look at Tristan and be like, I told you.
Well, definitely right, and I'm sure this is probably just not an overnight thing. It's probably been going on for at least several days, so... For them
to be out of so many things... Yeah, normally you would think that most places, and this kind of started with the cafeteria too. Mm-hmm. That food goes bad, so that they have to order there's a window that they have to order for. Like you can't order for the whole month, food will go bad. Yeah. So you've got to have a window, but whatever that window was, they've eaten into it at this point at the school.
Yeah, and my mother having to work all-nighters at the hospital isn't anything new, but it's probably been a lot more frequent in the last week or so.
Possibly. Certainly with the beds being filled up and, the ER not being able to get people out, so they're trying to find places to put them so they can actually get emergencies in there. Yeah, you probably don't see your mother very often because if she works at night, she's probably sleeping during the day, but looking at this situation right here, you could understand why mommy day drinks.
Yeah.
Self-medicating. It's perfectly fine.
So that's the situation. If you wanted to, you might be able to find Mrs. Carmichael. It's so chaotic that you could probably get away with, sneaking. I mean, you could ask someone where she is, maybe convince them that you're a family member of Miss Carmichael. You could look around, try to find where her room is. You could sneak up there. You could do any number of those things. I'll let you all think about that for a moment while I go back over to Tony and Eddy. So you all know the situation that's going on right now.
After like the 8th honk, I finally migrate my way out there.
Yeah.
What?
Both of them, like one of you in the car with hands flown up, your hands are up there, like you re-accentuate. It's like you're trying to like trump each other with like who's
he's sitting, I'm standing. Right now, I'm bigger.
You're just trying to like which one of us is the most appalled right now.
Try to move a little quickly. Like what?
What are you, deaf?
I'm in your car half the time.
That's true. That's true.
And I pause for a moment. I hear what's going on the radio. I'm like, so did they get into the part about the firefighters not getting within like 30 feet of the fire?
No. What?
Yeah, Mr. G's got it on the TV in there right now. The firefighters get the hoses. They work out there. They spray. They're not hitting it. They take a couple steps closer. Then they take a couple steps back. It's ridiculous. I think they might have been running shine in that thing or something with how hot it is.
But I heard a bunch of sirens going the opposite way.
No, they were
heading that way?
They were heading that direction. Okay. Yeah.
So that's what's up there.
I'm okay with seeing people look like morons. Oh, and our people aren't up there. Yeah, fire department, like right down the road, isn't even up there.
Who's up there?
Everybody else.
But I mean,
like I think Bluefield came up.
Jeez.
I know. What the hell?
Maybe they're watching a bunch of idiots.
You want to go watch a bunch of idiots?
Yeah, let's go watch.
All right, let's go watch a bunch of idiots.
So Tony and Eddy drive their way.
Sibling bonding at this point.
There are two things we can bond over: explosions and looking at idiots.
Yeah. So
And sometimes one of us causes the other.
Weirdly wholesome.
So you
Dad wasn't scheduled to get out, was he?
What was that?
Dad wasn't scheduled to get out, was he?
No, it's still 3 months from now. He's supposed to be out by Christmas on good behavior.
So Tony, you're behind the wheel. You've got a few options to be able to get to where this has occurred. Now, you could take a Stafford, which is kind of the road you're on right now. You could cruise a little bit and actually take like Mercer Street, which is the cool thing to do. Or the most direct route would be to hop on 460 and head that direction.
Tony's not going to take 460. He's probably, he's 17. He's going to show off, so he's going to go down. He's going to go down Mercer
Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a fire department on Mercer Street?
So there is not a fire department on Mercer Street, but
Just curious if they're just sitting there, grilling or something.
So
Eating some chili.
I know.
you will
5-alarm chili.
you will pass one of the I think it's Ingleside. When you start to get closer, you will pass one of the volunteer fire departments on the way, and it's got the big garage doors and it's empty. Normally they have 2 trucks there. Trucks aren't in there. Like, it's been fully mobilized. You
hear about another fire on the radio?
Scanning the radio. We hear anything else?
It's the same type of stuff. Eventually, like, they report it. It's not like news broadcasts. Like, you catch them like during the commercial break, and then it's back to music. You get to close to that intersection where the Applebee's is, where Southern Exposure up on the hill with the big spotlights and
Right here.
yeah,
I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, no reason.
Speaking from experience.
I mean, seriously, massive spotlight.
You can see it from about 5 miles away, up in the air.
Yeah, massive spotlight. So
I've never been in it.
You get close, and it looks like on both sides of 460. So it's a 4-lane highway. Both sides of this 4-lane. Police and the fire department and ambulances have kind of created like a roadblock, like a radius, and you can see like way over near like where the interstate and 460 kind of intersect. You can see the flames licking, like it's still burning right now. Probably because no one's done anything to like put it out. And you can see the firefighters on your side. You can see Princeton Volunteer and their main dispatch that's based out of downtown. They're trying, like they hit the water and it doesn't get like anywhere near, and they try to like march towards it, and then they like march back, and you can kind of look because it's sort of like a slant uphill. You can kind of see. And it almost looks like you can see on the other side, there's a different fire department trying the same thing. So you've got like, here's your fire, and like this is the water coming close, and then like it stops, and no one's actually getting water on this fire. And you can tell like the emergency dispatchers want to get close to this and try to put it out and fix it, but like they all just keep reflexively backing away.
See what I mean? Idiots.
You can tell that it's distressing them that they can't get closer to this.
A pretty big reaction for a car.
Yeah. And the fact that none of them are getting closer.
Well, they're not exactly the smartest guys.
Do you think they know something we don't?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe they were running shine in that?
Maybe they just got short hoses and weak pumps.
I mean, don't they have pills for that now?
That's, yeah.
Yep. That's the pharmacist. Answer's yes.
Survey says.
There's only the one, but it exists.
I think its patent just came out.
Yeah.
So my statement does still stand. Don't they have pills for that now?
I saw something in Sports Illustrated about it.
You did. You absolutely would have.
I thought it was one of the commercials during South Park. I mean, come on.
The bathing suit section of that Sports Illustrated.
It wasn't the swimsuit edition.
But that's its own, solution.
This had
for
Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa on their march to 70.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll pull off the side of 460 where I can park, just try to grab some rando fire department member and just see what's going on.
You can grab a rando, or just to let you know where things stand, 460 goes over the interstate. Mm-hmm. So it's not like one of the random ones where, like, that's how the interchange works. Like 460 goes over the interstate.
Describe for me where the car is located.
The car is located as though it were going westbound, so toward Princeton. Mm-hmm. You're too far away to see what has happened, other than the fact that it is currently engulfed in flames. But it's on that part of the road.
Like, so it's westbound lanes.
It's on your left side. So
does it look like it's close to the visitor center? It's off of 460?
Yes.
Okay.
But the visitor center is actually on the opposite side of the road. But yeah, like it would be parallel to that.
Okay, so it's a ways up there if we're down by where Applebee's is. So that's half mile, quarter
to half mile. But I mean the flame where it's uphill, so you got a good look, and the flames are kind of licking. Like you can, like it's not invisible to the naked eye.
Sure.
Now, the way the interstate and the road is set up, that you could probably walk alongside the road, maybe 5-10 feet away from the road, and maybe, avoid eye shot if you wanted to kind of sneak over there, do a little sneaky sneak, because you've probably got the vast majority of all the emergency responders in Princeton between you and that wreck.
And are cars going down 77 South?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going down and up. So 77 traffic is remaining on both sides. So
okay. I'll just take off walking. We'll sneak up there.
Okay.
I'll follow along. I want to get a better view of these morons.
Okay. So
sibling bonding time.
most of these individuals are going to be too focused on what's going on up ahead. So if you would like to make a sneak roll, and this is going to be normal difficulty because they are distracted, this will allow you to get over there closer. Otherwise, one of them, you're probably going to get caught, and they're going to say, "Hey, kids, what are you doing?"
And then we get to make fun of them for having short hoses and weak pumps.
Yeah. So I almost kind of want to fail that.
You've both been workshopping this joke for a while.
I succeeded.
I failed.
Okay. Did you just get the one success?
Just one.
Okay. So, options. You can mark a condition to re-roll. You mark your shame to auto-succeed, or you can get caught.
Yep, for getting caught and busting him with it.
He got his own. Like
I'm ahead of
it. He had an idea, and you had a different idea.
Yeah. Well, I figured, follow along. But yeah, he's better at this than I am. So I get caught. Yeah,
I'm basically trotting out through the field.
So, so you basically ended up with this 50-50 situation where, like, somebody kind of, like, looks over, and you figured one of you was going to get caught just by, like, because someone's scanning the field because they're bored because they can't do anything. It's probably, like, paramedic, and they're like, well, I can't put out the fires. And, Tony's able to get away scot-free. If they catch Eddy, and, they look at Eddy with a real look of concern, like, hey, kid, get up here. There's an accident up there. It's a fire.
Trying to get a view of what's going on.
It's a fire.
I can tell it's a fire.
Car wreck. Like, do you really want to see, like, a person burning?
I want to see a car burn. I mean,
Well, you can see that from back here.
Yeah, but I can't tell what type of car it is from back here.
It doesn't matter. It's a flaming car.
They don't make those anymore.
Come up here, or I'm going to have to ask the police to get you to come up here. You don't want me to do that.
No, I don't.
We're just trying to stay safe here.
But why aren't they putting it out?
They've been trying. Come up here. We'll talk about it.
Fine.
Okay.
God.
That's happening.
Pretty good 16-year-old right now. That's a pretty good 16.
Like,
Oh, God.
Stupid.
it's the one muscle I have.
Adults just don't get it. Back to the hospital.
Oh.
How have you decided to tackle that? You want to penetrate further into the depths of the Princeton community?
I'm going to act like I'm sorry.
Did I use a bad word?
No.
Well, we were talking about like weak hoses and and I made this little motion towards Anthony, and I thought he was going to die.
I'm like, they're gonna sip.
Are you having a hard time over there?
Ask him that.
I think that's the thing. He's not having a hard time.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, we're going to ask.
But yeah, I'm gonna act like I'm her like granddaughter or something and try
Okay.
again that way.
Gotcha. So you'll head up to the front desk. I'm going to ask for a charm roll. This is going to be a normal difficulty. Basically, you're just trying to look like you belong there and try to get that information out of whoever's working the front desk. And they're a little bit stressed and stuff, so let's see what that charm is.
Would I be able to assist since I'm there?
So here's how assisting works. If you want to assist, basically she gets a bonus die, but you are tied to the same results she gets. So if you would want to make it yourself, you would want to hold off, but if you want to...
I'll just assist.
Okay, so you get an additional die.
All right. I have 2 successes.
2. Okay. So, not only do you get the information out of her, but you do a really good job of convincing her that you are her granddaughter. So she's going to believe you forever and ever that you are this woman's granddaughter.
Oh, okay.
That's what my
So you tell her like, yeah, I'm Mrs. Carmichael's granddaughter. Like, oh, honey, yeah, she's up on the 3rd floor, room 326. I'm very shocked that they're able to get her a bed so early. We've had so many issues, but yeah, room 326, and she points you towards the elevator.
Okay. Before I go, I'll actually stop and be like, what kind of issues have you guys been having here? Like,
It's just it's been so busy, and it seems like we've had shortages of like medications that we've needed, like stuff that would normally take, we could discharge people in about a day. It's been taking 2, 3, 4 days because we just don't have the right stuff. We've run out of antibiotics, running low on insulins. We're having to make our own IV bags for a lot of stuff. I'm not sure we've had wholesaler issues, but do the best we can with what we got. Do what's best for the patient. That's what they keep telling us.
okay. Well, thank you for letting me know, and I'm definitely going to go see her. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Have a good day.
And then she'll, just go pull Tristan behind her, and they'll go up the elevator to her room.
Okay. You go up the elevator, up to the 3rd floor. Significantly quieter up here than it is downstairs. Downstairs is very lively. You follow the signs to room 326. You're not bothered by any of the employees or anything. They figure if you made it this far, there's probably a reason that you got here. You make it to room 326. There's no one else in the room other than Mrs. Carmichael. Mrs. Carmichael's in a bed. She doesn't have any other family members here. You seem to recall her husband works out of town as a pipeliner, so he's usually out for several weeks, comes home out several weeks, whatever. So that he's out of town, but likely once he got the call, he's probably on his way to come see her. You don't know, yeah. you don't know if they have. If she does have kids, they're likely grown. They're probably a bit older than you at this point. But she's in here alone right now. Typical, she's got. She's resting. Looks like she's asleep. She's hooked up to monitors. It has a gown on, hooked up to a monitor so you can see like the heart rate and respiratory and all that stuff kind of going on. She's got IV bags attached to her, the blood pressure cuff that kicks on and off on occasion. And you have, and this would have been back in the day where they probably still had like the chart in the room too.
Out on the door.
Yeah, because they haven't gone completely. So we'll say it's on the door. So her chart, where all of her medical information is actually on the door. It's not electronic yet.
Well, let's give it a read.
Yeah, we'll pick it up and definitely read and browse through it.
Okay, so to pick up her chart is going to be a sneak roll, because that is something that they'll miss if they walk by and they're wondering where the chart is. They'll start asking questions and stuff, and that's kind of, we're pre-HIPAA or in the thick of HIPAA right now, so that's going to be protected information, but we still haven't gone to an electronic medical record. So we'll just make a sneak roll, make sure you don't get caught.
Okay.
What is your sneak?
My sneak is just a 3.
All right, my sneak is a 6, so I'll handle that one.
And I'll assist you.
So you'll get an extra die roll, and you'll both be beholden to the results of this roll.
See, there's a reason why he's my spotter.
Not so much. I want to take the L on this one. I'll go ahead and mark a upset condition.
Okay.
Because this is a pretty upsetting.
Because now that you're seeing her in the hospital, it kind of rings true. So you'll get to re-roll all of those dice.
All right. No.
Nothing? Okay. So the last option would be to mark your shame if you wanted to, but that's...
shame doesn't really apply to this. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So you step out there, you look both ways, no one's looking.
Mm-hmm.
Grab the chart, no one's looking, bring it back in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a chart. Okay. So the chart is kind of in one of those metal clipboards. That way you have a writing surface to go along with you. So it's got a clip on the top so you can shove the paper in and you can write on there. And it's got some information on the inside, kind of like a 3-ring binder, but that's the chart right now. So you have that. Now, the problem is it's written in by doctors with notoriously wonderful handwriting that's very clear and concise and gets to the point very quickly and is easy to read by the layperson. Yeah, so that's penicillin 4 times a day. So
doctors are making demands.
So you've got this information, but you would have to make a comprehend roll that I would say is would be extremely difficult. It would require 2 successes to kind of make heads or tails out of it.
All right, so we each got 1 success each.
Okay, so you tried it separately is what I'm hearing? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you would need 2, one of you would have to get 2 successes, so you're not going to be able to combine them. So
I was actually going to use one of my conditions.
Okay.
I'll also use the upset one.
Okay, so you can re-roll all of your failed dice, so you get to keep that success.
Okay.
You get to re-roll the failed dice, and we'll see what comes out of this. So both of you are kind of looking at this thing and that looks like an E. That looks like a...
Bingo!
Got it.
Okay, so you got your 2 successes.
Yeah.
So,
Yahtzee.
You look through, and you've probably got some experience with yoga and meditation, I imagine. So, circulation and respiratory and terms like that, you've kind of already learned as a result because of, controlled breathing and mindfulness and controlling your heart rate to be able to calm down. It is stuff that you've kind of learned on the periphery that just so happens to tie in with what's happening right here. And you look at the chart and you see, Mrs. Carmichael is was admitted unconscious. Her respiratory rate is currently she's currently on a respirator to get her to respire because she wasn't breathing on her own. Heart rate is normal. No signs of a stroke. No signs of a heart attack. Everything seems to be very stable with her. The only two things that they run into was that there was no respiration, so they had to do the ventilator to get her to breathe. And they had extreme difficulty trying to get her IV lines and drawing blood and stuff out of her because it seemed like her skin was abnormally thick.
That's weird.
That she had the note describes it as regular scales of a regular pattern throughout.
Can I look at her arms and?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You take a look at her arms.
And now that we have this information, I'm going to go and try to sneakily put the chart back.
Okay. So, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You are checking her arm. You look at it, and it's, you know how, like, if you sit on or lay on like a patterned couch or something, and it leaves like that pattern, like you lay on it for a good long period of time, and it like leaves that pattern. She has this like fine mesh-like pattern, and it's probably like, 8 or 10 lines to the centimeter. Like it's just sort of hashed, and it's not like completely covered, but it's like the smallest grid paper you've ever seen. And it goes all the way up her skin, all the way up her arm. And, you're a girl and don't really care, so you kind of like peek under the robe, and it like goes as far up as you are willing to look and invade this woman's privacy.
Yeah.
But it's all over, and you feel it, and it feels rough and tough, and you try to touch her skin, and it's like almost like the armor of a turtle, like like it is tough, and you can see that like it looks a bit bruised and stuff where they've put this IV line in, and it even looks as though like if you were to breathe long, like her skin would just reject this IV needle and like shear it. But that's what you can see with her right now. Now, Tristan, as you look in the hallway, you grab the chart, and as you're putting it in the slot, as you found it, you let go and you turn, and there's a nurse like 6 feet from you. It's like, "Can I help you with something, honey?"
Oh, I was just visiting my friend's grandmother with my friend.
Oh, okay. You're really not supposed to be touching those charts, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, all right. And she kind of goes about her business. So I believe you've probably got all the information you can from this area. 460. Team Tony Eddy.
Here we go.
I'm stuck with the guys yelling at me, probably the paramedics.
Eddy, you are begrudgingly making your way up this berm to get back on the road while this paramedic's looking at you. You do well not to betray your brother.
Oh yeah, no, I'm being louder and more obnoxious now because
you do well not to like look over to make sure your brother doesn't get caught.
Dad didn't raise no snitch.
It's true.
Tony, you realize your brother got caught, but you don't think it's going to be too serious because he's being compliant. And as soon as, they drop, Princeton Police Department's name, he's like, okay, all right, I'll do. So you figure you got away scot-free. You make your approach, and you can kind of like by your ear tell what you're parallel with. And of course, you bypass where the paramedics got to. And then you kind of bypass like not only the city police, but the state troopers, because there is the barracks near there, having a conversation about, what to do, how to identify it. Could anyone get a plate number? You bypass them. You get to the point where you can hear these pumps on the fire engines. and you can hear the engineers like, this is as much pressure as we can put behind it. Like anything else, we'll probably bust the hoses. We're not even going to be able to get water over there. So you can hear them having this conversation, like how are they going to get more pressure and more water to that area. You get even further and you can hear like the high pressure of water coming from that hose, and just, psh, like you know you're getting closer and closer, and you can see you're getting closer and closer to the intersection. As you get closer, you are just met with like this overwhelming thought in your head, like, I really don't want to see this accident. Maybe I should turn back. Maybe I should just turn around. That's what's going through your head, though. But you are a strong-willed individual. You choose what to do. But you just got this really severe gut instinct. It's the same gut instinct that tells you to swing on the outside, and it served you well. It's the same gut instinct that tells you that you can outthrow that guy running to third. Like, it's that same type of voice in your head right now telling you maybe you should just turn back.
Am I closer? Like, if I'm looking, am I closer than any other person seems to be to this vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. But do I look like I'm about... How much closer do I seem to be? Like, just a few feet, maybe?
If you were trying to draw a range, we'll say that those firefighters were probably only got about 150 feet from that car. You're probably within the 100 to 150 foot range. Okay. And you're getting this very strong sensation that of like apathy, like you're not as interested in this as you thought. Maybe I should turn around, maybe I'm gonna get in trouble, and just not. It's not even like the fear of getting caught. It's apathy. I don't care about this as much as I originally thought I did. You're beginning to actively lose interest,
right,
in checking out this accident.
I think he's going to push forward.
Okay.
I think he would.
You push forward.
Because you know the shit I'd give you if you don't, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically what it is. It's like, I know that my brother's going to rail on me if I got away, and they're like, what do you mean you turned around?
Yeah.
What do you mean chickened out?
This is the closest anyone's ever gotten to this car. Might be a good opportunity for an investigate roll.
It's not too bad. It's a 5. I probably did not grab my Letterman's jacket out of my car when we left, did I?
Well, I'm not sure how much the Letterman jacket would sort of help in this particular case, but I would certainly entertain the block the heat or something like that. Yeah,
like the block the heat that might be coming from this.
I don't know. Did you bring it with you?
When don't you?
There's a 33% chance. 1 or 2, I brought it. 1, I brought it.
Okay. You put it on. Just because, like, it's... Yeah, like...
You
want to look like you belong or something?
Well, no, like, I can see firefighters, they're wearing their
bunker gear.
Yeah,
so,
they're wearing their jump gear, so yeah. I'm like, well, this has got leather sleeves on it.
It'll
at least cover my arms.
Yeah.
The rest of it's wool. It's going to just melt.
I'm going to die, but...
Right, I'll be comfortable while doing it.
1 success.
Got a success. Okay. So, investigate allows you to find hidden objects, understand clues, break puzzles. You get to ask me 2 questions.
Is there anything about this car fire that looks out of the ordinary, besides it being a car fire?
So, you've probably had the same driver's ed class that your brother's actively taking right now. You just had like a year ahead of him. And you remember that part of that class was watching videos of like crash test dummies and different accident types and stuff. And, it was kind of interesting. And you sort of used that lesson from like, how impacts work in certain sports and stuff, and how the catcher can kind of mitigate someone sliding in the home so, it doesn't hurt as bad, or maybe you do want to hurt the runner coming into home or anything like that. Sounds like you might be an outfielder or something from what you were.
Yeah, he's probably a center fielder.
Okay. So you look at this car and it looks as though it has suffered like a full-on head-on collision with something. Like the front of it is just accordion. Like it's a front head-on collision, and there's a big collision, so there's a fire. That's what it looks like happened. It's a single car in this area. There's no retaining walls. There's a guardrail that looks, for the most part, in pretty good condition, with the exception that it's now, been in close proximity, so it might be warping a little bit. Mm-hmm. But no, it doesn't look like it hit the guardrail. There's nothing in the middle. Like the median is just kind of like a big dip. So you don't know what the driver could have possibly hit, but they hit something.
Do I see any sort of tracks or anything leading away from where this car is in any direction?
No, and I'm going to give you this as part of that combination too. This was a single car.
Right.
You don't see anything else.
Yeah, nothing like this hit something and then whatever it hit.
No, you don't see like any dead animals, like it hit a deer or something. You don't see any other vehicles. Like it's just single car.
I guess the second question is, does the fire seem to be subsiding any? Or is it just still roaring the same as when we could see it from before?
It's going to be hard for you to gauge, but it looks like, you've been around, fires before, like wood fires or anything like that.
A few.
Yeah. What you can tell is that it's running low on fuel. Like, it's burnt through all the material. It's burnt through the material. It's, the gas probably went up real quick. It's probably burnt through the oil. It's just kind of smoldering in there. Thankfully, it obscures anything that you could have seen on the inside, so you're not treated to the view of like probably a corpse at this point. But you, it's still kind of like actively ablaze. But it's probably dying down. Like you can take a look, like you look the back seat, and like the amount of fuel is,
it's probably now burning like cloth and stuff like this.
Yeah, it's dwindling, but the temperature is noticeably warmer. It's not unbearable. You don't think that it's the heat of this. You don't think the heat of this is actually causing any of it. When you smell, like you would think there would be some noxious fumes. It appears that the rubber has kind of like long since been melted off of this. So you kind of get the regular smell of like burning and stuff, but something else hits your nose. It's like the smell of ozone, like a strong, like electrical smell.
And is the voice in the back of my head still like trying to talk me into leaving?
Yeah, the voice in your head is just like extreme apathy, and like even you are forcing yourself to tell you're forcing your brain to think that this is interesting, that this is important information. It's like, yeah, it's fine, everything, but like you just,
it's a fire. It's a car that's on fire, man.
Right, and like at any other time, you'd have been like all in on this, but you just got this voice, like practically yelling at you at this point. It's like you are not that interested in this. Just turn around. You've seen what you need to see.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to try to get any closer. How close he's gotten. I don't think he probably doesn't want to take the chance of seeing a dead body in a driver's seat. It's burnt to a crisp.
And I'll give you this. You've been examining this for a while, and you know how like the heat lines off of like the asphalt. You can kind of see like the heat lines off the asphalt because the sun's still shining on it. And the heat lines off the fire. But it almost seems like these heat lines or the shimmer or this like mirage playing tricks on your vision and your perception of light kind of extends like a bit further too. Like things lack the same clarity as you're looking towards the interstate that it would, when you were further back or when you're looking back that way. It's just like, you don't know if it's the heat doing it or what, but just stuff lacks the same clarity.
Okay. He'll look, kind of rub his eyes, and then try to make his way back to where he left his brother.
Okay.
or to that area, and as he starts getting closer, he's gonna slow down and try to figure out where his brother's at.
Okay. Speaking of Eddy, it's you've been up there, and what will you've been doing with that time? Because you've kind of gotten in with this paramedic right now, or you could head back to the car, or
I mean, right now this is as close as I'm going to get to seeing what's going on. I might as well stick around and listen to what's actually happening.
Okay.
And I'll just be doing the standard 20 questions that any excitable 16-year-old would be asking.
Okay.
Like, well, since I can't get close, I might as well figure something out.
So
it's like, why do you think it's burning like this? I mean,
So what type of check would you like to make? So we could, so we've got you could potentially do charm, which means your new best friend is now like this paramedic or someone else on the scene. You could try and investigate, see if there's anything you could pick up, clues and stuff from this far out. Plus, you're in the middle of like all the radios.
That's true.
Like all the information is being cycled through here because you've got every single scanner.
I'm at a toss-up between either going with the investigate, comprehend, basically the mind approach, because it is adapting all the information. But at the same time, I'm also debating if I should try doing like some literal tech talk with the paramedic to see if that would help, break the ice there. Like, the idea of, like how many cars were up there? Was it only the one? Well, what can make a car like that burn? I mean, do you think they were running shine? Do you think that they had, an extra tank in the car that they shouldn't have had, and that created the explosion?
Okay. So,
like, I'm trying to see if I could potentially use my knowledge of, cars in the tuner community to, spitball to, gain some information, or like get somebody that would try to talk shop like that and then pick up whatever theories that they might have.
Okay. So that would be Tinker. Tinker is specifically for machines and mechanical items.
Okay.
So if you were interested in trying to get that information, you would kind of get there on your own, but I'm going to also now that you've got the paramedic there who, trying to workshop with him. So, so we'll go with Tinker.
Okay. And
good Lord.
One success.
You boy.
It's my best roll.
So you start talking shop with the paramedic, and the paramedic does have some experience and age on you. So, they're going to have some life experience that they can talk about. Usually, for them to from the reports they're getting, because on neither side of this accident, and you've had people try to approach it from the other side of 460 on either side, and they've kind of backed off too. They can't get close enough. You get the impression that they think that it was probably some type of collision, because normally if it were overheating or a fire on the inside or something like that, then generally the driver would have enough time to react, stop, get out of the car, unless it was an absolute panic. But judging by where the car is on the interstate and how there's a lack of damage on the guardrails, it doesn't look like they ran off the road or anything like that. So, either the driver kind of blatantly ignored an issue, or maybe it was sabotage or something. That's ridiculous, though. It looks a lot like an accident, but there's no other cars out there. That seems impossible. What could it have hit out there?
Yeah. And again, to make it explode like that, that's, you gotta be hitting it really hard.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. It reminds me of a head-on collision with the simple bit that there's nothing for it to collide head-on with out there. And he scratches his head, and it boggles the mind. It just fits the description of a head-on collision.
That was like a micrometeorite or something else, but
we can go through all the acts of God right now, because that's certainly what it feels and seems like, but that's, I don't know what else. There's nothing around here. I wish we could get closer to.
Why isn't anybody getting closer though? Well,
I don't know. I have to wait for the fire department to do their thing, because I can't help somebody if the fire's still going on. At this point, I don't see how there could be any survivors.
You said it, not me.
I'm just listen. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. This car's been burning for way longer than you and I have been out here chit chatting.
Yeah.
Either they got out of the car and are not announcing their presence, or they didn't.
Which makes this even stranger, because I just gesture towards, the fire department. Just not closing in the distance.
Yeah. And they're still kind of doing that tango.
Yeah. It's like,
where
and I point to one of the trucks. Like, I saw them on the news a couple weeks ago. They ran right into that burning house, no problem.
Yeah. I don't know I don't know. They're not communicating what's going on up there. So I don't know. I've got to trust their judgment. I'm not the one running in there with the bunker gear trying to put it out.
Yeah, well, it's not like it's a tanker with some chemical or something.
They may know something we don't. I don't know.
Ugh.
Okay, so that plays out 460.
The voice of Matt Carthy is Tyler of MNmaxed Podcast. Find out more at minmaxed.buzzsprout.com. Title and credit theme provided by Tabletop Audio. 10-minute ambiances and music for games and stories. Find out more at tabletopaudio.com. Additional music from Incompetech.com by Kevin MacLeod, used under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0.